Welcome to Just the Two of Us Homestead. We are Colleen and Frank, and we live in the perfect size homestead just for us in southwestern Quebec. Gardening, growing food, and preserving is one of our passions. And our barn animals, we love them so much, they're just like pets. And we're so fortunate to be able to live our lives as we do. Each and every day is a blessing. Hi, everybody. This is the longest day we ever spent in the garden, but it's going to be the shortest video. We live right beside a grain farm, and on this day they had every tractor, combine, equipment, whatever they have, they were working their fields. So I had to pick brief amount of time to film, and unfortunately most of this is going to have to be a voiceover, and that's okay. They were busy doing their thing. So I was just preparing this bed for my beets. I'm growing 2 different kinds. And as always, I'm using my seed square that I just adore. It takes all the thinking away. I can just sit there and do it to my heart's content while I was serenaded by this lovely, beautiful robin. Today was tomato planting day, and Frank went down. We've done this previously, but every year he goes through and digs all the holes for us. You can kind of hear in the background the equipment being used in the field, so it was quite the noisy day. So before we start to plant the tomatoes, I like to lay them all out. I don't know if anybody else does this, but I like to grow them a certain way. I keep the slicers with slicers, paste with paste, and certain ones grow bigger than others. So I like to lay them all out, and then when we go to plant, I have them all organized the way I like them. So now we're doing the planting, and Frank has coined this as gardening senior style. I can't bend and I can't kneel, and he can't really bend. So he does the planting and I'm his assistant. I pass him the fish emulsion in the one bucket and earth in the other, and he does the planting. And between the two of us, we manage to get it done. It takes us a while, but we just sit there and chat, and normally we would just listen to the sounds of nature and our own animals. But today I even had to mute the background for you guys at this point because the machines were quite loud. But we got it all done, and we just take our time doing it. So when Frank does the planting, he takes the tomato plant, loosens up the roots a bit, breaks off any branches that are low, and before he puts the plant in, we put a couple of tablespoons of trifecta, and then we give it the fish emulsion right away to give it a good soaking before we put in the new earth, which is a mixture of the mycorrhiza, compost, and an organic vegetable soil mix. And then he just pats it down, and that plant is done. And this is what it looked like when it was all done. A little bit messy, but we got it all done. Here I'm taking my sweet potato slips that still have roots, or actually some that still were on the potatoes, and I'm just planting them in the earth, and some that still had good roots that I had in water, I'm putting in dirt. I don't plan on planting them until the first week of June, until I'm certain the temperatures are really, really warm for them. So instead of doing it inside, I brought the mess outside this time, and Frank went off to do a few other things, and I just sat there and got them all sorted out. Again, I am just blown away of how great these sweet potato slips are doing. We've moved on to the final project of the day, and we are going to plant just one of our beds of potatoes, and it's just a small one. It was a perfect way to end the day. I'm just sprinkling on a bit of trifecta, and you'll hear and notice that the wind is picking up, and you'll see very shortly how bad the wind got. We got this project in just in time before a huge storm rolled around. So I'm just planting some of the red. I think these were Chieftain Red. And then we did some Yukon Gold. I plant them about a foot apart. Sometimes I go a bit closer, sometimes I go a bit further. They all grow the same. Frank had to do a wardrobe change this time because he got fish emulsion spilt on him when he was doing the tomatoes, so you don't want to be smelling like that. So here they all are, and now we're going to cover them up with straw, and then the chickens get very, very jealous because it's their favorite thing in the whole world. See them all lining up there? And you'll see the wind getting terrible. We could barely keep it down. We grabbed the hose shortly after this and we just sprayed it all and gave up trying to cover what we could. And within 15 minutes, this is what happened. Thank goodness I was done with my little greenhouse because we ran in the house shortly after that. And this was our long day in the garden, but boy, did we accomplish so much. So thanks for spending time with us today. And until we're together again, take care, friends.